What's going on YouTube? This is Trey here from Team Hotheads, and I'm coming at you with my regional report from the 2018 November 17th regional from Philadelphia. It was a pretty small regional in terms of Philadelphia. Generally, we have maybe like 700 people, something like that. They give out 64, top 64 is what generally gets the invites. But yesterday we had a really low count, in my opinion. It was only about 400, maybe 450 people there. They only did top 48. And that's literally the first time since I've been going to regionals in maybe 2 or 3 years that they've done top 48. So in my opinion, it was pretty small. The deck I chose to run for this regional was Pendulum Magicians over my Crusaders, just because I felt like Pendulum Magicians would have a better opening when it came to putting up negations and interruptions. It was a little bit of a bittersweet kind of turnout for me. I did do better than I've done before, but I just didn't do enough to get the top, top 48 spot. So it was a little bittersweet. I did, however, do way better than I did last year around this time with Magicians, because last year around this time I was 2-8 at that regional, so that was really bad. So this year I did much better, and I'll just show you the deck profile. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen it before. Most Pendulum Magicians decks probably look the same, roughly the same. I did do a few things different that I just felt fit my play style a little better, and it didn't really affect me in any way. I think the deck played exactly the way it was supposed to play, and I had a good time. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, I ran 3 copies of Harmonizing Magician. So Harmonizing Magician allows you to essentially go to your XYZs, your XYZs, synchros, all that good stuff. So Harmonizing is probably like the best magician you can really use right now. We're gonna follow that up with, I had 3 copies of Wisdom Mind Magician, and then 2 copies of Oath Dragon Magician. I mainly used him to put back my harmonizing and further my plays, especially if my opponent forgot that I didn't normal summon yet. I could just put back a magician and normal summon it to do more stuff. 2 copies of Black Fang and 2 copies of Purple Poison. Purple Poison was there to kind of scare my opponents from like killing it, basically, because I could pop a card if they did. And then Black Fang was able to bring stuff back and make my opponent's monsters weak enough to kill them. 1 copy of Zhenki, 1 copy of Dragon Pit. Dragon Pit popped a good amount of back row for me in this regional. And Zhenki, I didn't really go up against a lot of decks that were playing light, but Zhenki Magician was in there for that, as well as to be on level 7 in case I maybe banished my Dragon Pit off of Desires or something like that. 1 copy of Time Gazer because I'm running 3 copies of Chronograph. And because he's a level 3, so you can do level 7 synchros with him. So Supreme King Cat package, we had the 2 copies of Gate Zero and the 3 copies of Darkworm. I feel like I kept seeing Darkworm a little too much, so a lot of times I would side out 1 copy of Darkworm and 1 copy of Gate Zero, just because I feel like I was seeing them a little too much sometimes. 2 copies of Master Cerberus and 2 copies of Jackal King. Master Cerberus, and this is a lot, I do kind of want to make sure people don't forget you can do this. Master Cerberus was a really good out to monsters my opponent would put on the board and think I couldn't do anything about. Like, say the monster couldn't be destroyed by a card effect or anything like that. I would just bring Master Cerberus out with Jackal's effect, place 2 more scales, put 4 counters on him, and then banish whatever they put on board, and then keep going about my plays, because then you could just normal summon, go to Electromite, and then pop whatever skills you put down and keep going. So never forget, he can be pretty good spot removal. And then, of course, the Giant Chicken, 3 copies of Apex Avian. Apex Avian is just, it's a great negation to bring out with Chronograph. Surprisingly, I didn't really see that combo too much, but if you pop a card while you have Chronograph and this in hand, you can bring this out. I didn't see it before. You want to do it before you get Electromite, but I really didn't see it before having Electromite on the field a lot of times. But I would always Pendulum summon this card out. And a couple of times I actually did normal summon him just to facilitate getting into Vortex Dragon, and I'll explain how I did that which you guys probably can figure out, but I'll explain how I did that. And then, of course, 3 copies of Drone Lockbird. I chose to go with Drone Lockbird. Shout out to my buddy Nick for letting me use his. I chose to go with Drone Lockbird over Ash Blossom because I knew people would try to bait Ash Blossom. And then when they bait Ash Blossom with a search, you just let them get whatever kind of BS search they were going to do, and then you stop from searching for the rest of the turn. And I was also fearful of FTKs, so I wanted Drone Lockbird over Ash Blossom. Off to the spells. I was running 3 copies of Pendulum Call, of course, because it's Pendulum Call. And this is kind of where my version of the deck differs a little bit. I was only running 2 copies of Desires, just because I never really liked running 3 copies of Desires in my decks. And then 1 Dragon Shrine to the 2, and 1 Foolish Burial, just because I wanted to see one or the other. I never wanted to see both, and with this ratio, I always saw one or the other. I only saw both one time. That was like the one time I bricked. And then lastly, I was running Time Pendulum Graph. Just because Time Pendulum Graph to me is a really good out to certain cards, especially if you go first. I had it as if I have it, that's great. If I don't see it, oh well. But it's just an extra form of negation you can have in your deck. So it's like, why not play it? It gave me it's basically just an extra card because without it, it's a 40 card deck. With it, it's a 41 card deck. So it wasn't too bad. And then this is my filter that I used all day, Vegeta. I do really love Dragon Ball Super. So I decided to rep that today. Well, yesterday. Extra deck wise, I had, of course, the 1 copy of Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, 1 copy of Supreme King Clearwing, 1 copy of Omega, 1 copy of Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, and 1 copy of FA Dawn Dragster. I almost never went into Dawn Dragster. Same for Meteor Burst. Clearwing was also never really relevant because my opponent's boards also always like couldn't be destroyed by card effect or something like that. And then Omega, I went to him a few times just to try to get information on my opponent. And literally every time I went into Omega, I snatched out like a spell card that gave me no information. So I kind of stopped really trying to depend on him. XYZ's, of course, Absolute Dragon. Because Absolute Dragon gives us Vortex Dragon. And what happened is with this card, my opponent stopped me from going to Electromite and doing crazy stuff with Electromite. I would just normal summon this guy. And I would special summon this guy and then use him to protect myself from attacks. And then on the following turn, tribute him off for Misfire Apex Avion, freeing up my extra monster zone to bring out Vortex Dragon. So then you have Vortex and Avion. Naruto, who I almost never went into because surprisingly, most of the guys I played didn't really have a lot of back row heavy decks. The one back row heavy deck I did play was Sky Strikers, and they can just recycle their back row, so it really didn't matter to have Naruto. Supreme King Dragon Dark Rebellion for OTKs. Abyss Dweller really helped me out, setting off the graveyard effects. Tornado Dragon, popping back row. This and this were the 2 cards I really was trying to get into when it came to Sky Strikers. Time Star to protect my scales and to search any missing magician I needed. Brolo to snatch Troublesome Monsters. Mellotron to recycle my Electromite. Weave Witch's Apprentice to pump up to push for game. And Electromite because I'm playing Pendulums. Side deck. I kind of decided at like 3 a.m. on Sunday to run Magicians. So my side deck's a little weird. I had Beals in case they try to destroy my cards. Mind Crush to rip cards. Summon Limit to stop Thunder Dragons and a lot of other decks like U-Link decks from going off. Red Reboot for the Altergeist. And then Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode for Thunder Dragons. Because Thunder Dragons oftentimes can end on triple Colossus or 2 Colossus and a Titan. So you could just Sphere mode it all the way. So that was my deck profile. I ended up going 6-3 in this regional, which wasn't too bad. It's like the best I've done by far. I ended up 72nd place. I do think my last loss at the 3 is what pushed me out of the top 48 contender spot. So that's why it's a little bittersweet. As far as matches, I played round 1. I played Thunder Dragons, and that ended. I lost game 3. Round 2, I played Sky Strikers, and I lost in time in game 2. Round 3, I played a Burning Abyss player, and I 2-0'd that deck. Round 4, I played Sky Striker, not Sky Strikers, Trick Stars. I 2-0'd that deck. Round 5, I played Crusadians. I 2-0'd that deck. Round 6, I played another Burning Abyss variant. It was like Burning Abyss with Dangers and other weird stuff in there. I won that game 3. Round 7, I played Mermails. Did I 2-0 that? I 2-0 the Mermail player. Basically, Abyss Dweller won that for me. And round 8, I played Gokis. I won that game 3. He U-linked me game 2, and then game 1 I won. Game 2 he U-linked. Game 3 I went into Abyss Dweller, and that won me the game. And then round 9 I played Altergeist, and I put in the red reboots, and I had my negations ready to go. But unfortunately, you can have whatever you need in your deck and not draw it, and you can still lose. So that's what happened. He ended up 2-0ing me round 9, and I finished 6-3. But I had a pretty good experience. I think I piloted my deck very well. I did combos that people didn't think I was going to be able to do, or didn't think I would do. If you want to hear any more about that, I could do a video on some of the weird things I did at the November 17th regional people didn't see coming. I think that would be a fun thing to do. If you want to know more about me playing Dragon Ball Super, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to play Super with any of you guys if you live in Philadelphia. This is Trey from Team Hotheads, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good day.